That's why I block everything out. But at some point, you got to think about it.
Yeah. But it's like you can feel it. I feel like you can feel it in your back. For me, that's where like it kind of like manifests. Where I realized like I'm hunched over.
Yeah.
And I realized it's like this is something that's kind of coming up a lot more maybe the last few years in my life, even before pandemic, just living in New York. I realized what it was recently is that I've been ripped off so many times in the city that it's just in my head like permanently. That like all the times I've been ripped off and all the times in my head that in the future that I know somebody's going to try to rip me off. I'm like this is like an evolutionary thing. It's like a fight or flight thing.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm in my head like I got to be ready.
I'm the same way. Even when I go to Ohio,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
it's still in my mind.
I'm in California. I'm in a very nice suburb, and it's like I'm still like I'm gonna get fucked over.
Yeah.
Something's gonna happen.
I added up right in front of people, right in front of them. I'll say, okay, so this is $2.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is $1.
Yeah. Normally, that's not like normal behavior, but I feel like, especially living in this neighborhood, living in like outer boroughs, Queens, and it's like you're just routinely getting ripped off for very small amounts.
Yeah.
And it's not only like because your brain ends up being divided into these different parts of like, all right, I'm being ripped off. Is this enough to make a big deal out of? Should I say something, or is this like, all right, this guy got me for 50 cents. I'm not going to argue with him.
Yeah, there's that. Then there's also like an argument behind you in line.
Yeah.
And then you got somebody's calling you and you're like, I got to catch this train in a minute. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
And then this person's like acting like they don't got time to hand you the change back.
Yep.
So they're standing there, just waiting.
Yeah. Well, the guy like that's why I never pay with credit cards, because they do the thing at like a bodega when you pay with the credit card, they just have to punch the number in and they scan your card.
Yeah.
And they're supposed to give you the receipt, but they realize you're in such a rush, so the guy just goes tap 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 tap. It's like, I don't know what the fuck you just tapped in there.
Right.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, they never want to give you the receipt. I've probably been screwed by that a bunch and never realized.
Yeah.
This one deli guy right by us gets me a lot. I don't know how many times he got you.
Yeah.
Gets me all the time, and to where it's like,
I walk in and I see him. I'm pretty sure I know who you're talking about.
yeah.
I'm just like, I turn around and leave. And he's like calling up after me, like as I'm leaving, like, what do you want?
Right.
Come on,
yeah.
come get a sandwich.
Yeah, I'll set you up. Yeah, dude. The sandwich guy, too. We had a big argument back and forth. Not that big because I know you're preparing my food, but
Yeah.
I got a BLT one time. And I was like, oh, $6.50, a little expensive for a BLT, especially for over here.
Yeah.
And I get home, I get up the steps. There's one piece of bacon on it.
Yeah.
So the next day I go back like, hey, man, you only gave me one piece of bacon on that BLT. And then, dude, I get a sandwich, 2 slices of turkey. I'm like, dude, I was like, come on, what do you think? I was like, what is this? I brought it back. It became a problem.
Yeah, and it's not like it's like coming out of his pocket.
Right.
This is just, yeah.
I tipped him. One time I tipped him real good on a sandwich he screwed me on. He goes, oh, you know what? I think I forgot the tomatoes. Give me that sandwich back.
Oh, wow.
And then he put more meat on. It's like, what's he trying to do?
And you realize, like, that guy spends his whole day at that bodega, and it's like he's just routinely ripping people off for small amounts of money. And I guess it must be adding up over time.
Yeah.
And it must be worth it. But it's like those guys, here's the thing is that some guys like me or you will just like, if it's $1, they'll let it slide because they don't want to get into it. But then there's some guys who it's like, nah, this is my time to get into it.
Yeah.
That's the other thing you're internalizing living in New York City, I think, is that you're used to getting ripped off and letting it slide, but you're also internalizing all the arguments that you've seen on the train, at the deli. And it's like all that stuff just kind of like it gets inside you.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and you know when you got to really let loose when it's so openly, for me, like if I go in, I was with somebody one time and then it was a girl, they gave her way more. She had like 3 inches of meat on her sandwich and
Yeah.
I had like 2 slivers. That's when I'm like, all right, dude, what's up with this? Like, maybe he didn't think I knew her. And it's like, what's he think he's getting out of this? Like,
Yeah.
oh, you think she's going to say, oh, hey, since you gave me 7 extra slices of turkey, I guess I will have sex with you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, these deli guys, man, they really they know how to get you.
yeah.
They see you coming. And it's like some of it too. It's like because you realize I don't know what the business model is of a deli, but it's not like it's necessarily going. And this guy doesn't have like stock
Right.
in the bodega. So some of it, I wonder. That's the other part of your brain where it's like is this guy trying to get over on me, or is he just trying to fuck me?
You know what I almost think? It's either, is he trying to screw me? See, if you start thinking that, you're going to get angry. I was in that
I'm angry.
place.
Yeah.
But then you got to switch your mindset and think, okay, is he skimming the meat because he's bringing something home to his family? You know,
He has a lot of meat. I guarantee you these bodegas are not doing inventory at the end of the day. Like, oh, you sold this many turkey sandwiches.
Yeah.
This is how much you owe me. It's like, no, this is a very loose business. It's all cash.
I can't stand when they're mad at you and they're slamming your stuff down. It's like, dude, first off, how bad is it really? You got to make sandwiches.
Yeah. But then even you go to the bodega, there's the stress of being ripped off, and there's also the stress of like, am I in the right line? Is that guy in line? Have I been waiting longer than him?
Oh, well, in this neighborhood, you don't got to worry about that. Everybody's cutting you.
Everybody's cutting you, and it's like, do I got to assert myself in the situation? Am I going to have to fight?
Right. I just want these Skittles.
See, that's why we've argued about this in the past about gun laws in New York City. And it's like, thank God most of these people aren't armed.
Yeah.
If we were in a situation where everybody had a gun and you got to add that stress on top, it's like, it's too much.
People be getting shot at the deli left and right.
Yeah.
I see people snap on the deli guys.
And then you see like, I mean, just on the train, getting on and off the train, just the stress of like, am I standing in the right place? And you kind of learn to sense it where it's like, oh, that guy right there is going to be trouble.
Yeah, most of the time it's the people that you're like, this person's coming on the train to mess with me.
Yeah.
They'll try not to move out of your way. It's like you could easily turn, bro. I'm trying to get off the train. I don't say nothing though because people are getting shot. Like
people are getting. That's the thing is that the basic New York move is almost always like just mind your business.
Right.
That's the number one rule for basically all activity in New York City. Is just if you mind your business and you don't say anything, you're gonna get out fine.
See, everything's disrespectful to hood people, and when you get in a mix when you're not used to being around hood people, and then then they come downtown or somewhere, and then you don't realize you're supposed to, be over respectful. If they open up the door for you, you have to say, "Hey, thank you, bro." Because if you disrespect you don't say thank you.
The most disrespectful thing to do is after somebody tried to be nice to you. And then you don't thank them properly. Right. You're not nice enough back to them. That's, double disrespect.
Then it messes with their sexuality. They're like, am I a man now?
Yeah. Then you got to fight somebody.
I got to shoot him. I'm doing life.
Yeah.
He didn't say thank you. I'm doing 50 years.
Yeah. Man, it's so many of these like calculations that you feel like I would never, anywhere else, I wouldn't have to think about this.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like when you're traveling, you see this, you're in Dominican Republic, or like when I was traveling in like Thailand, and you're in these sort of like the kind of environment where everything's loose.
Yeah.
And there's no price tags on anything, and everything's in negotiation. You buy a bottle of water, it's like, oh, it'll be $5. It's like, I'm not going to do $5. It's like, all right, $2.
Right.
And you have to do that calculation. And it's like, you go there at first, it's like, oh, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I can negotiate for my water. And then by day 10, you're like, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore.
Right.
Give me a price.
Yeah.
I'll leave if I don't want to pay for it. But it's like, imagine what that does to your psychology. Of just when you see like, sometimes you see foreigners who come to America and they're used to negotiating for everything.
Yeah.
And they don't realize, you can't go to Best Buy and try to talk the guy down on a TV. There's a price.
Right. Yeah. This is the price. I can't change it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what they do too. And sometimes you could talk the people down. I never even realized that. I was at B&H, and this is a little trick for you guys. If you're at B&H, right when you're about to check out, you could say, oh, can you give me some percentage off? And they will.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy.
Well, that's like it's like price matching guarantee or something.
No, you just
they have a little
them.
wiggle room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like buying a car or something.
I guess.
But I mean, at least that's not something you have to do normally. That's why sometimes, even in this neighborhood, it's like, I know I could get, I'd go to the bodega and I'll pay $1 for something, or I could go to CVS and pay $1.50 for it. But I might go to the bodega and the guy just might feel like charging me $2.
Right.
So it's like, I'm just gonna pay. I'll pay more to not have to deal with this stress.
If I'm by myself and if it's like the 5th time somebody tried to screw me, then I'm saying something. But a lot of times I do just let it go, and I even do a little more because I'm like, I'll tip them. I like to really hurt them. Like I'll be like, oh, thanks for giving me such a good deal and looking out for me. You'll get your karma. I give them an extra
it's a
dollar.
little threat.
Because most people that try to rip you off, their ego's a thing. So if you go, hey, I just want to help you out. I know you need it. Another dollar.
Fuck you, yeah.
Oh, man.
This guy's pissed,
dude.
yeah.
Then they're like, they'll be like, take it the next time you get it for free.
Well, the problem is like getting ripped off. It's like, I know this soda's supposed to cost $1. Why are you charging me $1.50?
Yeah.
But there's also, in this neighborhood especially, there's no price tags in this business.
Right.
There's no menu. There's no what is that. Everything is unlabeled, and everything comes down to what's this guy's mood at the register. So you try to get. I knew this chicken cost me $4 yesterday.
Right.
I've been coming in here for years paying $4, and then this one day, this guy's like, "Oh, it's $6.50," and you try to say like, "No, it's supposed to be $4." It's like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And at that point, it's like, what are you gonna say? No.
And then even if there is a menu, you can't be like, oh, it says right there. They go, oh, yeah, old menu.
Old menu, or there's menus in the city. There's just no prices on the menu.
Yeah, they scratched them out.
Yeah, it's just whited out where it's like, hey, we'll tell you what the price is.
Yep.
You're going to pay what you pay.
I hate when they look at you for a minute. If you see them look you up and down, you're like,
how much can I get this guy for? Yeah.
I got these new Nikes on.
Yeah.
I'm paying $9-10 for this sandwich now.
It's always, this neighborhood. I mean, the vast majority of transactions in this neighborhood is buying chicken. But it's like, man, what am I going to pay for this chicken?
Right.
Getting chicken and rice. You had that.
Every day I got it. But every single day I go to the same place.
But it's like the price for chicken is one thing, and the price for rice is something else. And the price for chicken and rice, you know what it is, but it somehow ends up being less than buying them separately.
I just did it last night. I always, at this deli, I go buy them separate. Dude, they charged me, the chicken was the cheapest I ever got the chicken for. And honestly, I think it has to do with my hair, how it's been looking. I think I had a stain. I always get them stains on the middle of my shirts.
Yeah.
Anyways, $3.18 for the chicken. Cheapest I ever got it.
Right.
I try to trick them with the rice. Come back $5.50 for the rice. I'm like, yesterday the rice was $1.50. It's the same rice.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yeah, that was Wednesday.
Yeah, that was my feel good price.
Yeah.
I'll take what I can from you.
Yeah, everybody does it, though, a little bit. I used to have it in Ohio. My boss had the register set on some extra tax, and some people caught it, and he would just have us tell him it's the mall tax, and there was no mall tax.
Yeah.
And he was just getting people, because you'd see $5.75 for cheeseburger and fries. Let me get 3 of them, $21.50. What? That doesn't make sense.
Right.
And then he'd tell him it's mall tax. It's, I don't know. They give us the register. And people would just be like, man, that mall tax sucks.
Yeah. But even in New York City, too, it's like, because we both worked like cash gigs before, where it's like you don't really know. It's just a day job. I mean, like it's just a one-off gig.
Yeah.
So it's like you never really know what it is you're walking into. And you know what you're supposed to be getting, but you don't know really how it's going to work out for you when you got to negotiate for yourself for like a moving job or something. Because every once in a while, you'll just meet, like, we're working for these super rich people where it's like, this guy's loose with it. And you can kind of spot it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, this guy's going to buy me a big sandwich.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while, it's like you get the complete opposite of that. And you have no idea what you're going to get.
Yeah, you might get a small sandwich.
Yeah, you never know. You might get nothing. The guy might take your sandwich out of your pay.
Yeah, I've had people sometimes, same thing. I remember one time I did this one easy moving job for this guy. So easy. It was a little bench. One person could have did it. He hired 2 movers, a van. This could have fit in an Uber, dude.
Yeah.
And it was a cheap, like, IKEA bench on top of that. And it was, my buddy was $150 for him in the van. And then I was $50. That's $200. It took us about 15-20 minutes, dude.
Yeah.
Right down the street. I could have walked it, honestly.
Yeah.
And he's already up $200. Then he tipped us each $100.
Wow.
Dude, I almost was like, come on, bro. Do you realize how much you're getting charged?
Yeah.
But to some people, that was nothing to him.
Yeah.
I seen his house.
But then there's some people who have even nicer house who just like are penny pinching for you got to like pull teeth from it.
Oh, yeah.
It's brutal.
I've had those people. They don't want to send you the tax when they split the bill.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, what do you think? I want to pay it?
Yeah. But it's like you don't realize that the level of stress that you're carrying, because you think it feels like a job's a job, but you don't realize that like most people who don't live this kind of life, they know how much things are going to cost. You know how much you're going to Starbucks every day. You know how much the coffee costs, $3.50. You know what your paycheck's going to come out to. But when you're living this kind of life where everything is kind of a negotiation,
Yeah.
it makes you like on edge
Yeah, it
all
does.
the time.
Yeah, I know I look bad in front of girls on dates when I just come with the attitude like, yo, why is it $7.50? She'll be like, calm down. Like, were you making a big deal for that man?
Well, it's hard because it's like you have to ask before you order the thing how much that is.
Right.
And there's no price tags on anything. So you end up having to do inventory on the whole store.
And then you gotta ask how much meat's on it.
Yeah.
How many? They were like, "What do you mean?" Then you got the deli guy looking at you like you're. What do you mean? A sandwich amount? That's what they said. Well, maybe your sandwiches are different than mine.
Yeah.
You know where you don't gotta deal with it? It's always in. It's not necessarily all of New York, where they're hustling you hard. Downtown, they will have the prices, and they know that they're ripping you off to your face.
Yeah, but at least you know.
Yeah.
You know going in, the chicken is $10, which is a little pricey for chicken, but it's like, I'll pay it.
And here's the thing, too. That sandwich is going to be 3 inches thick.
Yeah.
You're going to have to take some meat off that thing. Here, they want to give you one slice. It's more rude here.
Yeah.
It's like, not only do I want to rip you off, I want to hustle you, too.
Yeah.
You can't be cheap and greedy.
But even just like working these moving jobs, that's why I had to stop doing moving jobs. It was just like most of the time it was very straightforward. It'd almost too easy where it's like a 30-minute job and you get $60 and you just move up the stairs a couple times. But then every once in a while you just show up and it's like, oh, this is going to be a nightmare.
Right.
And it's just from the start. Not only is this going to be a nightmare, but this girl thinks that this is going to take an hour and it's going to take 5.
Right.
Minimum.
Oh, I've had those. Even when you tell them over the phone, you could tell somebody clearly everything that you could think of, and then they'll throw a curveball. I had one girl, I showed up to move a queen-size mattress, and that's it. No bed frame, just the mattress. She's like, we're going to throw away the box spring. I go, okay, cool. I'll be there at 2 o'clock. And I show up. Dude, it's a 5-bedroom, half a townhouse in the Bronx somewhere. She's like, where's your 10-foot ladder? I'm like, what? Did we never speak about a 10-foot ladder? She's like, how am I going to get in the loft without a 10-foot ladder? And I'm looking, I'm like, miss, you need a semi-truck, a couple of trips to move this stuff.
Yeah. Everybody thinks that they're going to fit all their stuff into like 3 boxes.
Right.
And then it's crazy how many times you do moving jobs. And it's just like, I didn't come to this job thinking I'm going to see somebody cry.
Right.
And it's like, what do you even do?
Or like when you got to let them down, but you got to be like, come on, you don't think this is possible. The worst is if it somehow is possible. Like I had one girl, she was like sliding everything to the door for me to move. And I'm like, hey, there's a fridge in the way. She's like, no, carry it down. I'm like, I was like, this is impossible. And then she goes, my last mover did it, but he was way bigger than you. And then I'm like, well, you didn't speak about a fridge.
Taking a little shot at you at the end.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, like, you were doing those moving jobs for a while, though, right?
Yeah, I got to a point where I'd be like, okay, FaceTime me. I got to see everything physically.
Yeah.
I really would. Because people lie so much. Everything's so dumb. And then, they'll try to tell you broke their thing, they scratched it, and you didn't.
Yeah.
They're trying to get out of paying you. One time this girl had this coffee table, literally tape holding it together. I'm like, look, I said, if I even pick this up, it's going to fall apart. I could tell it's barely taped together. It's like, dude, it's like a $20 little coffee. It's like this little thing, but weaker, right?
Yeah, some IKEA shit.
Yeah. So she goes, no, it's okay. Just take your chances with it. I don't care about it. I pick it up. It falls apart. She doesn't want to pay for the move. Dude, a $700 move job.
Oh, man.
And she's like, no. She's like, I had to lower it down to like $230. I was like, I couldn't find the coffee table nowhere because it was so old. I was like, I'll get you a better one. She's like, no, I want that exact one.
Wow.
So I talked to people on the phone for like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Really get to know them.
Well, so much of this city, once you kind of get into this like kind of underground economy, the informal economy, so much of the city runs like that on cash.
Right.
With like kind of undocumented workers. And it's just like, you don't know. Nobody's paying, people aren't paying taxes. It's just a cash gig. And so it's like everybody's used to just constantly making these little negotiations.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what makes people mean in the city.
Yeah, I've had girls like that to where right off rip, they're like, "Can you take an hour off?" So I would just spend an extra hour doing it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'll take an hour off, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna get out of hustling people?
Yeah.
What's the worst you've ever been hustled in your life, you think, in New York?
I never really got ripped off for money because I never had money, but it was always just doing these little tasks
Right.
of a guy who says like this is going to take 30 minutes, and then you get there and it's like this guy is like, I don't know, he thought he was going to get over on me, but like he doesn't realize I'm just going to do a bad job.
Yeah.
This isn't going to like my mentality going in any of these gigs is always like, if this goes that bad, I'll just stop doing this. I will find a way to live.
That's terrible. Yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm
though.
so confident in my ability to survive now in New York City. I've been this broke for this long that it's like, if this goes bad, I will find a way to live. You don't, I mean, like, you don't, this isn't a job that you can fire me from because this isn't a job.
Right. It's crazy when something's that bad. You got to ask yourself, well, I changed my entire life pretty much just because I don't want to get screwed over too much here.
What if I just walk away right now?
I had one, dude. When you come from a place of desperation, that's where I get screwed the most.
Yeah.
People could smell it on you. Please, I need the money.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah. We got this one.
Put some more bricks on his back.
Yeah, right? Reel him in.
Yeah. We got a live one.
Yeah.
I'm sending him over to you when I'm done with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I had one. I was begging for a restaurant job, door to door, downtown, East Village, Manhattan. Like, just please, I'm just trying to work. Please, I need a job, and this and that. So one guy got me good. He goes, hey, all right, yeah. He goes, can you start training? I'm like, when? He goes, right now. So, dude, he goes, before we get started, help me just set up some stuff. Dude, next thing I know, it's just one more thing. Dude, I'm cleaning out his basement.
Wow.
Dude, I'm throwing all this stuff away, working, busted, bleeding knuckles.
Yeah.
Dude, then he's got me sweeping out the basement, coughing in dust, no breather. Dude, laying the basement out. Dude gives me a roller. I start painting the basement. I'm like, man, I'm going to get this job. We didn't discuss any money or anything. Dude, and he goes, come back tomorrow. I come back tomorrow, finish it off to like noon. He feeds me, gave me a couple shots of whiskey, and then he goes, I don't know if you're a good fit for this place. I think we're going to go with a girl bartender, but, thanks for your help. And I was like, all right. I was like, well, how much for what I did? He goes, no, that was just training. I was just seeing what type of worker you are. I'm like, dude, obviously I passed. I said, I remodeled your basement.
Wow.
Like, what more could you ask? And, dude, the basement was I spent like 20 hours.
Wow.
Never got paid.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, I was so mad.
See, that's the difference between me and you is that I'm just not actually that hard of a worker. So I would have gotten about 30 minutes in and the guy would have told me like, nah, stop. You clearly you don't know how to do construction. You're going to make this worse. So you should probably leave right now.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, you know what? Fair enough.
You're so bad. I don't even want to rip you off.
Yeah, right. This is going to cause damage to my place. I don't want to deal with this right now.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was the worst I ever got it. Like over on Lower East Side, like around First and First, right in that area.
Yeah. But you realize, too, it's like, especially because they realize that they can take advantage of, like, especially like, illegal immigrants, undocumented people from Mexico or something coming here. And there's so many of them that we've worked these jobs with these guys before.
Yeah.
And those guys work so hard that, like, they wouldn't even, like, question it.
Yeah, I had one where I witnessed that. I was working there, and they weren't paying us. I had to fight and argue for my money. He finally got it right. The dude literally told me this because he thought I was an immigrant. And I was telling him, I'm like, dude, there's laws against this. And he, because maybe I wasn't really talking complete English to get my foot in the door. I was talking a little broken English. I kind of made the guy think I'm an immigrant. Because you almost got to get hired at these restaurants.
Yeah.
They see a white guy coming, they're like, oh, this guy's going to sue me. Come on, he knows a lawyer. So I did a little broken English, just real quiet. And They hired me, and 3 weeks in, dude, I'm not getting paid. I'm getting tipped out like $13 a night from the servers.
Wow.
So I finally tell him, hey man, this is inaccurate. I need my money. There's laws against this. He's all confused. He's like, he's
You
like,
know-
"I
you know
didn't
about that?"
Yeah. He's like, I didn't know you know English.
Wow.
He was like, you learned English quick. That's what he told me. And anyways, so he paid me right, and he tells me, he goes, hey, don't tell those other guys what you're making.
Wow.
They were all from like Africa and Mexico. The one guy was training them in Tierno. He was working there for like 5 weeks, and then he never received $1. He keeps saying, when am I gonna get paid? Like after the third, fourth week.
Yeah.
And I go to check his. I'm showing him I trained him.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking up. I'm like, man, this is crazy. I checked his back hours to see how many hours he got.
Yeah.
No hours. And I showed him, dude, I trained him under my clock-in number.
Oh,
So
man.
he was like, dude, I didn't have the money to pay him.
Oh,
I
no.
legit, something else went wrong. I quit. I told the guy.
Oh, my
I
God.
was like, I trained Tiano wrong, too, by the way. You owe money. Dude, I just left.
Oh, my
Like,
God.
I'm like, this job's over now.
Wow.
They'd have me on the 4th floor on a railing. All these guys from Australia, they'd be hammered drunk. They'd be getting me drunk, and they'd have you on a railing, dude, 4 floors up, walking a railing, so unsafe, trying to get a string out. It was like, dude, I could be killed.
Yeah.
They'd be like, come on. The dude told me one time, they had these heavy tables, like cast iron. We had to carry them up from the basement to the roof every night. So, dude, it takes 2 people to take these tables. It's heavy as hell, 4 or 5 floors. So he shows me. He's all proud. He's like, I'll do one. And he grabs it. He's shaking. I got it.
Yeah.
And, dude, he's like, I'm like, dude, you're going to hurt your back. Next day, dude comes walking in all walking messed up.
Wow.
I'm like, look, you hurt your back, man. He's like, I was getting fucked in the ass. For real. Dude was gay.
Jeez.
Goes back to being gay, but he didn't even hurt his back.
Wow.
It was like, dude was just gay. They're like, you didn't know he's gay?
Yeah.
I was like, I thought the dude hurt his back.
Yeah.
There was a string of gay jokes on our comments. Nothing about it. This is just what happens in our life.
No, these
too much.
they make such a big deal about these like immigrants that are coming to the city and about how much it's costing the city and this and that, and these migrant vans. But it's like there are so many jobs in the city
Right.
for these people to do. And anytime you ever get a job where it's like you get there and you realize it's me and like one immigrant guy, that guy works so much harder than you.
Yeah.
It's like these people who want to work so bad and there's jobs available. And it's like, just let these guys work.
Right.
Clearly he wants to work.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
Clearly I'm a bad worker. So it's like, this dude should be he should be getting this job.
Even around here, there's signs everywhere. They can't ever get workers.
Yeah. The entire restaurant industry in New York City, that's how it runs. All the moving jobs, construction.
I don't see what the downside, like we were talking about this before. Plus, there's some of these guys are going to be scientists, inventors, construction people. Maybe one's going to invent an app. One guy maybe start a good business or start a new restaurant we never had. Like when you look at the downside, I don't see it. People get in a heated argument over this with you.
Well, yeah, they think that like, oh, this guy is like using up all the resources. He's getting welfare or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, this dude wants to work 14 hours with no shoes on.
Well, what cracks me up is, people go, no, he's cartel. Oh, yeah, because he wants to walk away from millions of dollars
Yeah, right.
and all those women to wash dishes.
To come here and work construction with me,
Yeah.
a guy who doesn't know what he's doing.
Waking up at 4 a.m. Yeah, I'm sure this guy's cartel.
Yeah.
That's what they always say.
No, you had that one story about the guy with the sandwich, right?
Oh, yeah, dude. Great worker, dude.
When you were doing construction jobs?
Yeah, we landed this job, man. We landed this job remodeling one of these places in Harlem, like by the college. Dude, this has to be millions of dollars, this place. We're in way over our head on this job.
Yeah.
Like, you actually, to do a job like this, you got to know what you're doing. So me and my buddy landed it somehow. I don't know, knowing somebody, and we don't really know about construction like that. I could paint and stuff, but anyways, he knew this guy. He met this guy at that was hanging out at Home Depot when he first moved to the city,
Right.
and he was picking up work, and he's like, "Man, this guy's great." gets him in on the job. He's the only guy that knows what he's doing.
Right.
And, we're paying him well. We're feeding him good because we need him. We're just screwing around, cleaning up, and, and watching him and learning a little bit. Dude was fantastic, Max. And then he goes, the owner sees him there one day, and he's all mad. We just bought him this big sandwich for lunch, and we're all eating. We're all happy. And the owner pulls me aside. He goes, "Hey, who's that guy?" And we're like, "Oh, that's our worker. He's great. That's Max. Sorry we didn't introduce you." And, Max didn't really know much English or anything. And he tried talking to him. And Max comes, he's just, "Chiquito, Chiquito." He's just saying that, and the guy tells me, he goes, "Hey, I don't want that Spanish dude around my kids." That's what he said.
Wow.
"Don't bring them back here." It was the first time I was really like, man, people are actually racist? Like, this dude means this.
Wow.
And, he meant it. And we bought all this supplies, dude, with his money.
Yeah.
He gave us like $4,500 up front.
Wow.
But thinking back on it, we should have just took that money and left.
Right.
Somebody that racist, they don't even deserve money. So either way, we had supplies everywhere. We had to do the job, so we were sneaking them in the basement. And we were trying to tell him, like, "Hey, man, you can't work here." And he thought it was because he ate all that food. He couldn't believe the sandwich. When we gave him the sandwich, I remember he's like
Subway sandwich or something?
Astonished at how big it was. It's like a 12-foot hero. He's like, "Come on." He's looking. He's trying to give it to us. He's like, "Half. You take half." We're like, "No, Max, that's yours. That's you." And he's laughing. Me, like he couldn't believe it.
That sandwich would have fed his village back home.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And then he's like, he thought it was because of the sandwich. We're like, "Dude, you can't work here." We're trying to break it to him.
Yeah.
This dude doesn't want you around, but we don't want to say that.
Yeah.
We're like, "Hey, man, so he just wants us to." He said, "It's okay. You don't need to work, Maximin," or whatever. And he's like, "Me?" And then we're like, "Yeah, no work. And he's like, "I won't eat." Dude, I'll never forget it. He was like crying, "I won't eat."
Jesus Christ.
We're like, "No, dude, it had nothing to do with the sandwich, Max."
See, that guy, when that guy tells that story back home, he's like, "Oh, I had the biggest sandwich of all time." And then his family is like, "Why did you eat the sandwich?"
Yeah.
Just smacking him around.
The sandwich was
You
so
had
big.
a good job. Who eats that big of a sandwich?
Why did
it's impossible.
You do Maximin.
Yeah, right. Nah, these dudes, I mean, like, you see it around the city if you're really looking for it. These, like, construction guys from Mexico or something. And it's like, I don't know, were they coming from Jersey or something, Long Island?
Yeah.
And it's like they come here, they're on the train at like 4 a.m. to get to their construction site. It's like sleeping on the sidewalk, basically.
Yeah.
End of the day, they're like, they get all these tall boys with like, Bud Light or something.
Yeah.
And it's just 6 dudes sitting directly on the sidewalk, just getting hammered.
Yeah.
And it's like, this dude has done more work in a day than I did in like the last 2 months.
Heck yeah, 2 summers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
no,
just
I
like
see it.
roofing and shit.
And then they sleep right there, wake up. They'll do the job in 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
Go home, see their family for a few days.
Yeah.
I had those bosses in construction that hate Americans. There's those proud immigrants that, I don't know if it's a jealousy thing or something, but they'll always way overwork the American harder than anybody, and they'll try to tell the American how lazy he is. Like, dude, I was working with this one guy, and I don't know how, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. It was a waste.
Yeah.
And dude, one thing about construction is there's always room to make stuff cheaper. Dude, I was straight recording him smoking cigarettes. I sent it to the boss. I'm like, "Hey, man, this guy's just getting in my way, slowing us down, telling us backwards ways to do it.
Right.
You're paying him for this shit?" Look, he's just smoking cigarettes. Dude fired him.
Wow.
Yep. I was like, "Yeah, you're right. Us Americans, man, we're lazy." He was ready to kill me.
Wow.
He's like, "You cost my job, my family." I'm like, "Dude, you should have worked."
Yeah.
The boss showed up, dude. I'm covered in dirt. He's completely clean.
Wow.
I said, "Hey, you need this job done quick, right?" The boss is like, "Yeah." I go, "How come I'm so filthy and his shirt doesn't even have dust on it?"
Wow.
Bro, next day, dude came up to the job site ready to kill me. Some Russian dude.
Wow.
Yep.
There's so many jobs though in the city where like it's just somebody, there's so much like kind of nepotism where it's like you just have to, the only way to get the job is to know a guy who's already kind of like in the union or in the system or something. So that's the other component of the city, is that like so much of it is so corrupt in terms of like it's almost like the mob where it's like this guy runs garbage collection on this one street,
Yeah.
and that's his whole gig. Or this guy is the cop this guy's family has been police officers for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So he's the cop who just doesn't have to do shit.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that gets 200 grand to just sit around.
There's always that guy.
Yeah. And you're always dealing with that here too, where it's like, no, you don't understand. I'm the guy that doesn't have to work. Everybody else, you're the guy that has to work. I'm the guy that doesn't have to work.
Yeah. Get that through your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people don't. I worked at a car wash where they just let this guy just be a dumb boss forever. Sometimes places are like, hey,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I'll never forget how dumb this dude does. We would laugh at how dumb he was. He'd be coming up to us all the time. He'd take like 2 bites of a sandwich, and he is one of these guys that had nothing to do all day.
Yeah.
So you're working, you're busy, and he just come up to you and tell you 19 times about how much that sandwich he ate. You're like, bro, get away from me.
Yeah.
Go watch some TV.
Yeah.
You know, I ate that whole sandwich. I don't know if it was like 9 bites. That might have been 10 bites. And dude, you're sweating and scrubbing a carpet. He's telling you, you got 20 minutes to get this done, buddy. You better start kicking butt here, buddy.
Yeah.
Whoa, buddy. You forgot the whole back here, buddy.
Yeah.
He still works there. I go visit him.
Wow.
But then again, he married a girl. She keeps getting pregnant. He always tells us, yep, caught her out there again. Another one that ain't mine. He's got like 3 kids that ain't his.
Wow.
So these people get their car. Like the whole time he's with this girl, she'll go cheat. He's like, yeah, she likes to indulge.
Jesus Christ.
And you get these people, life gives them their karma back.
Right. I don't know. So do you really believe in karma?
I do.
Do you?
Dude, so I'm at the coffee shop. This lady's like, it's been so slow. She's kind of being a little mean to me. I get my coffee, $5 for a coffee, already a little crazy. Yep. Tip the dollar. Something said, give her, you'll get it back. Dude, tip the dollar. Bink, my phone rings. Want to accept this cruise?
There you go. The universe.
The universe,
brought it
man.
back to you.
Know your laws.
But do you feel like when you see somebody who's really working hard, do you feel like this guy is like, this is going to work out for him? Because there's so many people. I have like a kind of a poor work ethic myself on like an actual job site. But when I'm working with these immigrant guys who are so like good workers, I always feel like this isn't going to work out for this guy.
Well,
this is the best he can do, and I understand his situation. But at some point, he's going to have kids that are going to be as lazy as me.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
But working hard doesn't always necessarily mean good karma, because I used to work my butt off 16 hours a day, but I was a dickhead.
Right.
I was a jerk to everybody. I'd be screwing people over.
Right.
I made sure I got the easier job, you know, and then I got all my bad karma. As hard as I worked, it didn't mean nothing. Something would happen.
Right.
You know, get a ticket, something happens.
But then there's also, I mean, like some people just got it good. I feel like there's a big part of life and just not being like going crazy is just accepting the fact that just some people have it different.
Yeah, some people do.
You know what I mean?
But it's how they
you
handle
just can't.
it.
You can't take it personally.
And you also can't. Yeah, you can't think about it too much because you never know. Their 70 years might be different than your 70.
Yeah, but it's like
80 or
even
90.
even just doing comedy, doing all this social media stuff, and it's like it is. People can tell you don't compare yourself, but it's like you're human. You're gonna end up comparing yourself. But it's like at a certain point, you just have to really accept the fact that some people, it's just like there's certain things out of your control.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, without a doubt, we've seen it. There's so many times. The thing is that you got no story at that point, though. Like I like the fact I'm earning this. That goes to like you see people that pop and they get stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like it really. To us, it looks like, oh, this person did great. Like, you ever see somebody? I've seen people get a TV show, and like all of a sudden now you see the real them, and then that show's canceled after 3 episodes, and then 6-7 months later, everybody forgot about it, and now they're coming right back to you, like, oh, yeah, any open spots? And
right.
you're like, yeah, oh yeah, there is one on that TV show you lost.
Yeah.
You're being a jerk to me,
right?
Or you get stuff like that, like. So it all balances out. There's some people that probably look at us with this podcast like, man, how come people watch them?
Right. But it's like, I don't know. You got to wonder too, like what would, how do you think you're going to react to it when things start going good? Do you
I
worry about that?
hope. Yeah, I really hope I'm not a jerk.
I mean, how do you even know though?
You start to sense it. When I was getting the cruises, there was a couple times when it's not that I was being a dick, but people that would feed me shit
Oh,
and
yeah.
shit on me. There was certain comics that just loved to shit on me.
Yeah,
And then I was doing the cruises when they're clearly not doing good,
yeah.
you know, and you see there nothing's going on for them.
Right.
And then I would make sure I was let them know I'm doing better than they are.
Oh, wow.
And in that way, I'd be like, I don't need to be a dick like that.
Right.
I've learned it in a small dosage.
And these cruises are nothing too.
It's nothing. It's nothing. So that just shows you, like,
Yeah, what
mean,
a little bit of power does.
I think there was one time I got, like, I had a $9,000 deposit come in from him. And then there was another dude just, like, telling me how they're, like, asking me if there's any part-time cashier work.
Oh,
A
wow.
comedian that was on the rise for years. Now it's been 10 years I've been in New York.
Right.
Some people ain't their career wasn't as promising as they thought.
Right.
And then, you know.
But I
I'm
just
like,
think like it's funny because I mean just how hard it is to make it in comedy, show business stuff, and how many people's motivation really is just like a revenge story that they have in their head.
right.
You know what I mean? And it's so much work to sit down and write every day and going on the road, performing and stuff. You would think that you wouldn't have enough energy for it, just based purely on like spite.
Yeah.
But I've noticed, and I always think this, but I've hung around comedians who are doing real well, people who've been in the business for a long time. Spite and revenge never runs out.
Yeah.
It
But
goes forever. You could go your entire life just being mad, and you'll never, then that energy is never going to run out.
what's lucky for me is, like, I can't be spiteful too long because I've never been in that good of a situation. Like right now, I'm broke, and you know what I would give for a good cashier job? Like, I'm over here making fun of this guy just 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I get humbled so quick that
But there's so much bitterness in it, and like even people who you think are doing real well, and then once you kind of get to know them, you realize this guy's actually like bitter because he thinks he's supposed to be even higher.
yeah,
And then he's like, that guy's motivation is like, oh, if I really bust this out, then I'm gonna get back at this one guy who fucked me over 15 years ago.
yeah. See, for me, that type of motivation won't work. The motivation that works for me is I gotta look at how much of a loser I am, and then I'm like, that's what sparks my fire.
But even like once you start doing good, I still think that's always going to be in your head.
Do you think you'd
You
go
can-
up to that guy and be like, hey, you know, yeah, hopefully not. If I'm killing it, you might want to throw in one or two digs,
Yeah.
you know?
I guess you always gotta balance things out.
Yeah, well, you don't have to, but
Yeah. I mean, it's going to happen.
yeah,
You're
you're gonna do
human.
it. Would you do it, or would you just keep quiet about it?
You can say that you're not going to do it, but you're going to do it.
Yeah,
I mean, hopefully you do it. You control the damage.
well, you know, you get these people, and they do. I had a comic, loved it. She was mad when she found out that I lived downtown in West Village instead of being happy for me.
Yeah.
I seen it on her face. She was like in the middle of calling me a failure or something. Like, I'm like, I can't believe this person's even saying this to
Right.
me. And she's like, yeah, well, you failed. You didn't do good at anything. You never figured it out. And you just lost and you're poor and not funny, right? And she's just telling me this to my face. And all I could say was, well, I live across the street, you know, because I'm on unemployment now.
Wow. Yeah.
But-
COVID deal.
Yeah, no, I was just like, well, I live across the street. And she's like, oh, how many roommates do you got? And I was like, I got none. I got a nice apartment. I'm just doing comedy. And I seen, like, she was so mad.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, though, is you don't realize is her being mad, she went home and wrote.
Right.
She went home and wrote a movie or something.
Yeah.
Or it's like, that's how these things balance out. Where
Yeah.
it's like, if you had never said that, this person, she wouldn't have had that fire under her.
Right.
Now she's going to she's going to do so much work just to get back at you. And you not even tell you about it.
Yeah.
But just, everybody thinks that like, oh, I post this on Instagram, everybody's going to see it. Everybody's not going to see it.
Right.
Some people are going to see it. Your friends are going to see it, but mostly they're just going to scroll by. Who cares?
Yeah.
All of this revenge shit that people have in their head and like trying to, this ego stuff, it's incredible how much energy it actually like gives people.
I guess on how you use it. That type of stuff, I always use the energy in the wrong way.
Yeah.
To where I'd call people, vent, pace around in my room,
Yeah.
going over the scenario.
Yeah.
And that's what I did with that energy. It took me forever, even till now. Honestly, the only reason I'm doing social media, when people are like, well, what's your motivation? And it's like, dude, I ruined my life. That's what,
Right.
Look at me.
This is basically all I can do at this point. Yeah.
Right. I ruined it. I should have did something, should have had a family and a career. If I would have known it would have been this path, I would have went harder from the beginning, I guess.
Right.
But now it's like, dude, what,
You're
I got
kind of backed into it.
Dude, I got to do it. What do I got? 10 more years?
Yeah, right.
If that, 10 years goes by the blink of an eye.
This alopecia shit works.
And I don't mean life. I mean with being an amateur comedian.
Yeah. Being a guy who's still struggling.
What sucks is with comedy is like nobody tells you like, you gotta hustle other people. That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
It's gotta be smoke and mirrors. You
gotta
hustle
be like
people.
You gotta be comfortable with kind of screwing somebody over a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how you're gonna make it.
Yeah.
Screw somebody over a lot of it.
Well, just like this guy's gonna bark for me in the rain to get 5 minutes of stage time.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna give him $10.
Yeah, if he's lucky. And I'm going to light him early because I'm going to do the time.
Yeah.
And that's what people do to us. That's what they do to comics.
Yeah.
And all that. Yeah, even getting on people's shows, talk some. It's all, how much can you talk?
Yeah.
Talk your way into stuff.
But I feel like the worst, though, as you see it, is that there's some people who like, because I think you kind of have to accept there's going to be a certain level of like kind of, taking advantage of people and corruption. But it's like, and I think you deal with it as you have to deal with it, and hopefully you move up. But not everybody moves up.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people. That's the scariest part, is that we know a lot of people who just get stuck in that kind of swamp.
Yeah. That's what I love about social media. For a certain point, it's up to us. Like, even those people that are stuck in that swamp, and you're like, well, they do social media, but it's like, let's take a real look. How hard are they doing it? How long have they been doing it? Only for 2 years. They've only been doing one video a week. Like, okay, something's going to happen pretty soon for them.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know, maybe there is some people that just try, like how I never want to accept the fact that if I were to give it my all, that it won't work out.
Yeah,
like
it probably won't work out.
If I talk to somebody that's like 55, 60, or 70, 75, and they did comedy 40 years, I've met people like this, I'll see the problem was. I said, well, what do you think the problem was? I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. I really need to get on social media. Then I'm like, okay, boom. That's why this person didn't make it.
But there's also just sort of accepting the fact that you could do everything right. And it's still
I can't accept
That's the
that
darkness.
because you could do it right.
You see it all around you.
Not right enough. It's like, okay, if this person started saying, screw it, I'm posting 7 videos a day for the next 3 years. I don't care about nothing.
People do that, though. There's some people it doesn't work out. I think it's that's the real toxic thing that really like brings people down.
Yeah.
Is the guy who thinks he's done everything right. Maybe he has done everything right, where they give you, you're starting comedy and they give you all this advice about you're supposed to be talk to this person this way and you got to start a show and you gotta make this many posts and this many things. And when you've done all those things right and things still aren't working out for you, those are the guys that really go crazy.
Yeah.
Where it's like, that's when you really to get toxic.
Yeah. Yeah, you are right.
And that's when you're, late 50s. And you're still pissed off at somebody who's half your age.
You got a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
You put up your best stuff, your 20 years worth of work. It got 4 views.
Yeah.
Do you know somebody, maybe they could title this for me?
Yeah, right.
You know a 17-year-old that's running around here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to really think, though, at least with our situations, we've done it enough to where we got a clip that won. We got a few of them. We got a few people that like us.
Well, the thing is, I think, the way I like to think about it, to not lose my mind and kill myself, is that at least we are enjoying what we're doing along the way. This isn't like torture. But there's some guys who hate doing all this shit and still do it all day long, and it doesn't work out for them. So it's like, at least that's the best thing, is that you can at least, hopefully you at least enjoy some of the stuff.
I couldn't imagine if I wasn't as dumb as I was when I was 25, because I got a lot smarter now in those 10 years.
Yeah.
But if I would have been as smart as I am now when I was 25,
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I would have stuck in this that long.
Yeah. Well, you would have, aimed your sights a little bit lower than that, right?
But then maybe right about now, after 10 years of not doing it, I'd probably be sitting somewhere working at Ponderosa or some steakhouse, serving people.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, you know what? I should have did that comedy thing.
Yeah.
I know, what was I going to say right before that? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's going to, guys, this is a good opportunity for you guys to like our video. We don't want Dan to kill himself.